I'm saying that the African Union is dead and gone. It doesn't make any impact. It should actually be disbanded because I don't see the good of the African Union. The African Union is silent. There's a leader in Cameroon who has been there for over 3 decades. There's a leader in Uganda who has been there for 4 decades. There's a leader everywhere in Africa. There are leadership crisis, and the African Union is not saying anything. But if you find the UK now intervening, if you find China coming to the picture or the US coming to the picture, we will begin to say, no, they are coming for our resources. No, it is because we're not managing our resources well. I want to talk about the role of the African Union in the politics and leadership trends in Africa. I think that maybe it's an issue of perception, or maybe I've not just been following the African Union. But I think, in my opinion, that the African Union is worse than the United Nations that was accused by Donald Trump, because they have been completely not involved in the crises and the issues of leadership that have bedeviled Africa. In fact, I can say in the last 10 years or 10 to 20 years, I have not heard the African Union made any significant impact in deciding or creating a pathway for leadership in Africa, or intervening in crisis in Africa, and in the unwanted or undemocratic rules that are prevalent in Africa. The African Union has completely been quiet. You see what I mean? Now, the reason I'm saying this, last year there was this major crisis, in the DRC, where a rebel faction was trying to take over some aspects of the DRC. The African Union did not make one significant diplomatic effort to stop that crisis. Rather, it was countries like the US, countries like France, United Kingdom, that were trying to come in. I think I remember maybe Qatar, they had a few meetings in Qatar, or is it the UAE? But not one major significant move by the African Union. And the reason why I'm remembering this is because we have just had an election in Uganda, and Museveni has, for the 7th time, won an election, a sham election, obviously. And the African Union is not saying anything. The opposition leader is being silenced, and nobody's saying anything. There's a lady in Tanzania who has also been doing very undemocratic things. The African Union is not saying anything. All the sit-tight leaders that we have in Africa, the African Union is not saying anything. Now, if a country like the US wants to intervene now in countries like Uganda, in countries like Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, where you have sit-tight leaders who are enslaving their people in the name of democracies, then people will begin to say, oh, they are coming for our resources.